compared to someone who has like been working on amplifiers for 30 years and who has, or a musician who has owned amplifiers, like, I'm trash. But compared to a person who's never really listened to electric guitar amplifiers, like, that's a big part of what's so fascinating about it, is that you can, when you have your amplifier open and you're working on it, you're soldering different components in, you can temporarily kind of like clip in different parts and understand then for the first time, like, oh, I'm right here, I'm clipping in a part, it sounds 1% different. But then I clip in this different part, and then that one is like 3% different because these values are massively different in terms of like resistance or capacitance. And so I think like it's a lifelong journey. And the reason they're dangerous is because they have massive amounts of voltage in them, and they have giant capacitors, which are basically big batteries that store electricity but discharge it faster than a battery can. So you can unplug a tube amplifier and then wait 2 days, certain tube amplifiers, wait 2 days, open it up and touch it and potentially die. So yeah, they're like, they are dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, but I think and that's part of the appeal actually to me that has gotten me into it, is that it's 0% dangerous if you know what you're doing and if you understand how electricity works. And I always thought that electric guitar was like this brash, loud, obnoxious sound. But like realizing how much expressiveness and like sonic possibility there was with electric guitar made me kind of go to a place where I haven't touched an acoustic guitar in 3 years, because I can just do so much more with electricity. And so I always was just like curious to explore that kind of dichotomy of like a vintage versus a modern instrument. And I happened to just like stumble upon a podcast about vintage amps, which just like sent me down the rabbit hole of books and videos and buying things and taking them apart and trying to understand them. My day job and this like random hobby I've developed couldn't be more different. In my day-to-day, I am very like people facing and all about like management and operations, and so I think that actually is a huge part of what's so appealing to me about this, is it's just like literally me and a voltmeter, trying not to electrocute myself or burn myself with 900 degrees of like a soldering iron. And so I think that definitely has been a thought that occurred to me, is like I get so much joy out of this. Like, would I enjoy this if it was full-time? But I think the answer is actually that I would go crazy if I was just sitting at a table inhaling solder fumes and trying not to electrocute myself all day and make sounds that people don't understand. That moment where you take a guitar amplifier and you just start turning it up, and like you're with a good friend who has never experienced just like the cacophony that electricity can make and you're turning it up and you're just looking at each other and being like, oh shit, and smiling and laughing, and you just like have that moment of inspiration or something. But I think that's rock and roll, is like that moment where something is happening that is just like so stimulating to your senses that you are taken to a different place.